Hashtag rise and grind. In order to become a champion in your mind, you are going to have to control the inputs that go into your mind. When I say control the inputs, I mean things like you've got to make sure that you're reading the right books, that you're listening to the right audios. You got to make sure that you're around the right people. You have to make sure that everything, all of the content that you consume, all of it, every single ounce of content that you consume has to be content that leads to the mind of a champion. As you know, as you've seen, it's been the craziest experiment of all time. As you know and as you've seen, as the media has released all of the thoughts and the propaganda, as all of the things that have happened over the last few months, as you've seen, as the governors have stood up on stage and the presidents have stood up on stage repeatedly, controlling the inputs of what goes into your mind, as you've seen, as this has happened just in the last 45 days, if you look at it with a microscope, the way that the inputs made you feel, the way that the inputs made you feel less than, the way that the inputs made you feel not in control, the way that the inputs made you feel fear and anxiety. You see, it all came from the inputs. What you put in your mind is ultimately what's going to determine whether or not you're a champion. That's why we have this planner. That's why we have the hashtag Rise and Grind planner, where we start every single day a certain way. Because this is how we control the input. Step 1, no snooze button. Step 2, do not touch your phone first thing in the morning. Step 3, write down your gratitude and goals. Step 4, take care of yourself physically. Step 5, send out an encouraging message. We do things in that way. There's a rhyme behind the reason, or a reason behind the rhyme. I'm not sure. Every successful person that I've ever studied, that I've ever had the opportunity to spend time with, every successful person will tell you they are, or will not tell you, they will display and show you that they are a constant student. They are feeding their mind. From this point forward, you must control the inputs, and you have to do it at a super high level. You have to apply all of your efforts. All. You see how there's capital all, A-L-L? Not I'm going to control some of my inputs. I'm going to control roughly, I'll do a little bit of my inputs. All of your efforts into becoming the highest mountain of all. And strain your potential until it cries for mercy. Step 2. To become a champion in your mind is I need you to rewrite the narrative. You see, you've lied to yourself long enough. You really have. You have lied to yourself long enough. In order for us to get you, in order for you to become the highest mountain, we are going to have to stop the lies. You see, you've told yourself over the years that you're worth this. You've told yourself that you're capable of this. You've limited yourself for whatever reason, based on your experiences, based on your last win, based on your last loss. You have told a story that is ultimately the one that you live today. Your belief in yourself, I apologize if this hurts anyone's feelings, but your belief in yourself, how you see yourself, is netting you the result that you have right now. If you are not happy with the result that you have right now, if you do not feel as though you are the highest mountain, if you do not feel as though you are living to your full potential, then it is time to rewrite the narrative. You've seen it. For those of you that have been around from day one, you've seen what happens. You've seen the change and the transformation, how you start to become a champion in your mind when you look yourself in the eye every day and you start to control the narrative. You see, I've always known the potential that I've had inside of me, and I've done really, really well in my life and in my career, but I'm not there. I'm not the highest mountain. I'm not completely fulfilling my potential. And so I'm looking at myself in the mirror every day and I'm going, what lies have you told yourself, Glenn Lundy? What story do you believe about yourself that needs to change? And then using mantras and using different things from these books that we collect, the different quotes that we collect, using these things, I'm starting to change the narrative. And you can do the same. The third thing that I need you to do is you're going to have to practice. In order for you to have the mind of a champion, you're going to have to practice this. Like I spoke about just a minute ago, how old are you? Let's do the math right now. You guys want to do some morning math? I want you to take your age. Let's take your age, right? And let's divide that by, I guess you would divide your age by 365. Well, no, that would give you how many years. That wouldn't work. Divide your age by 24. That would tell you how many days, right, that you've lived on this earth. If you divide your age by 24, and then divide I can't even do the math right now. It's millions and millions and billions and trillions of inputs that you've had over your lifetime. All of this different data, all of these different inputs, all of this stuff has been put in your mind. You've been programmed for so incredibly long. And you expect to just turn it around overnight? No, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to practice how to think like a champion, how to walk like a champion, how to talk like a champion. You got to start practicing. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do I need to dress to feel like a champion? You got to practice controlling the content. You got to practice rewriting the narrative. It doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to practice. Repetitive actions over and over daily are ultimately how you're going to become a champion in your mind. You literally have to reprogram however many years of inputs. I want you to win so bad. Step 4 is I need you to separate your mind from your brain. Your brain is flesh, your mind is soul. Your brain will die. Your mind is eternal. It will last forever. The brain will die, the mind is forever. Therefore, if you start now, you will end never. Write that down. The brain dies, the mind is eternal. Therefore, you start now and you end never. You see, when you start thinking about things like that, it takes away age. It takes away excuses. It takes away previous mistakes. When you understand that your mind is your soul, it's this eternal gift that you've been giving, that you'll have forever, ultimately for infinity. You have all the time you need to become a champion in your mind. Start today making those decisions that are ultimately going to continue as you continue to grow. There is no finish line. This game is infinite. It is forever. Step 5, focus on how you serve others. If you want to become a champion in your mind, you got to focus on how you serve others. Not necessarily how you can serve others, but how do you serve others? A lot of people get this mixed up. A lot of people are like, well, how can I serve somebody else? No. Ask the question, how do you serve others? How were you called to serve people? You see, once you understand your individual calling of how you serve others, how you lift each other's up. Some people are just great encouragers. Some people are a light in a room. It's not your job. Throw away the title. Throw away the physical. Think about the mind. Think about the eternal. What are the gifts that you've been given? What do people say about you? What are your character traits? When you start to understand how you serve people, and walk in that, what happens is it completes this connection between the mind, the body, the spirit, and you become a champion of your mind when each and every day you focus on how you can become the highest mountain of all. And you strain yourself, you strain your potential until it cries for mercy.
Hey!